Good morning. Good morning, Deborah Myers. Good morning, Deborah Little. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Beverly.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Betty Jo.
Good morning.
Morning, Lawrence. Hi, Sammy.
Say good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Deborah Myers and Deborah Little. If you went to your Chamber of Commerce meeting, let's have you talk at the beginning, okay?
Okay. Good morning. I have a guest speaker
I
with me.
apologize for forgetting to let you speak, but I heard
That's okay. I have a guest speaker. She's
that
going to
I'd
help
like
you.
you to share.
The meeting was all about goals, and it was a good meeting. But you know, it basically all month has just been setting goals, how to accomplish goals.
Morning, LB.
Good morning.
Basically, and just
Morning,
kind of
Brian.
rounding it up. It's all about setting goals for yourself, financial goals, personal goals.
Okay.
That's about it. But it's always a good meeting to meet people and talk to them.
Well, that's very great. I wanted you to briefly share how your introduction went last week, because I thought that was pretty good.
It was very good. Oh, well, I think maybe Deborah knows about the introduction.
Yes. You know, first of all, it was
Deborah, how were we introduced?
it was held at Clark's Nutrition.
Quiet, Oliver, stop.
Yeah, so Deborah Little, go ahead and share with us your introduction.
Well, we introduced ourselves as Deborah, and I was first. I just told them about our company, how we educate, and well, I forgot to say, and Deborah, we forgot to say, and we need you to recommend us some clients. No, but anyway, after the meeting, Deb and I was talking to this other gentleman, and we said in the future we're gonna introduce ourselves as Double D. And then we said, uh-oh, that might not be right.
Oh, well, that was pretty funny. Deborah, you were very creative in that. And I don't think that he'll forget. So you are unforgettable.
Right.
Yes. So let's take a look at our agenda. But before we do, I just wanted to share at my screen real quick here. You know, we just, for our friends from China and Taiwan, I just want to wish you happy Chinese New Year. Hope the days ahead are filled with immense joy and prosperity. So just a greeting for all. I know we had that tragedy over the weekend, so we hold the people, the victims and their families in prayer. That was a horrendous event. But for the Chinese, we wish you happy Chinese New Year. We just celebrated our New Year at the beginning, January 1st, and our friends together, we join you in celebrating happy Chinese New Year. So let's take a look at our agenda for the day. Let me grab it. Here we go. So welcome to Zoom. We're going to look at the BHHS website again and business plan check, and then taking action. I just wanted to share with you what some of our agents are doing. And then we'll hear from Keeping Current Matters about 8 minutes or so on, is the sky falling in regards to foreclosures? Hold on, let me let some more people in. And then we're going to hear from Rogner Park about some keys to success, and he'll share what these agents have been doing to achieve success in their first year in real estate. And then he'll also talk about pre-qualifying buyers. We have several housekeeping agendas there, and I apologize that we forgot to do January birthdays at the beginning of the month, but it is just a belated happy birthday. So let me stop that for now, and let's, we want to build our foundation together, because sometimes it's hard to do the work by ourselves. We know what we need to do, but sometimes we don't do it. And so I thought, how about if we just do it together as a group? And we've been looking at the BHHS national website. All of you have a national website. And I'm pleased to say that everyone has a website picture except for 5 people in our particular office, which is really good because many of the other offices do not have it. But I wanted to share with you again, Victoria Benoit's website. I hope you're okay with that, Victoria, but I was just very proud.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. So here is Victoria's website. She has added, you know, a different picture for the background, and she does have her picture here. And she has all her contact information on the right side. And then Victoria did put an about me, about herself here. So that is excellent because many people, yours will say about, but then it's blank. So I'd like you to take a look at what you have and make sure you put something in there so that when people click on your website, they know a little bit about you, because again, people will work with people they know, or they feel that they know and they like, or feel that they have something in common with. Now, she did say she speaks English and French, which is wonderful. This is something that is new that I didn't know. And so Victoria, that is amazing. And I want to know, how did you learn French?
My family is from the Caribbean, so I know French, Creole, a little bit of Spanish, and some English.
Excellent. Well, see, that is just wonderful to know. So when people click on that and they say, oh my gosh, she speaks French, then she would be more accessible to those people who need that person's language. So if you speak another language, put it in there. And then let's take a look. And what last week I shared how to change the pictures that show up of different communities that you can work with, and see what Victoria did. She did add Chino Hills. Now, all Victoria needs to do, this is the default picture that shows up when you put in the different community. But next, Victoria, I think I put it in the video of last week's meeting, how to change this picture so that it looks much more clear. Okay.
Okay.
But she's also selected, you know, Newport Beach. So that's wonderful. That's a high-end area. And then see how Ontario's picture looks? It's very clear. So what you need to do, Victoria, is change these photos here. And
I will.
yeah, okay, wonderful. And you know what I appreciate about Victoria is that she learns it and then she applies it. So see, she's way ahead of the game already. Now, so I want to ask, did anyone else fix their website or add to their website? I'm just seeing smiling faces or quiet faces. So, you know, try to do that for yourself, because it's out there, it's online. So let's make sure that it looks good. Okay. And then also we have the BHHS Resource Center where you can, you know, work on that business plan. And we did a demonstration last week and it was so easy. But I think some of you have forgotten your password to the BHHS Resource Center. I think our new agents know it, but some of our veteran agents have not logged on for so long that you might not remember what it is. So I just want to encourage you to do that. Okay, so back to our agenda. Let's look at keeping, you know what, I'm sorry. I wanted to mention something, but I don't see Evelyn Ramirez on the call yet. But, you know, about taking action. You know, Victoria took action right away. That was wonderful. Evelyn Ramirez and Evelyn Chu did something together. And I actually was calling Evelyn because she had a listing in Chino Hills and she just recently put it into escrow. Hi, Deborah, I see you're a beautiful girl there. She recently put it into escrow, so I was asking her if she could share about it, but unfortunately, Evelyn has some some work on her home that needs to be done today. So she mentioned to me that Evelyn Ramirez reached out to her and asked her if she could help her with her open house. And so Evelyn Ramirez showed up to the open house, and it was on the weekend of the extreme rain. And I know at first Evelyn didn't want to do it, but they did do it, but they had a lot of rain. But they were surprised at the people who showed up. There were about 8 groups of people that came through the open house. And Evelyn Ramirez told me that at the end, it was almost closing time, and then a bunch of different groups came in at the last minute. So, you know, there is opportunity. And I know Miguel Galaviz, you are going to be putting a home on the market shortly. So check, oh, here's Evelyn. Let me see if she'll speak. Let me open this up a little more. Okay. Miguel's going to be putting a listing on the market shortly. So, you know, if you would like to have experience of connecting with people, that's your chance. Evelyn Ramirez, I'm glad you're on. Are you able to just share your experience of the open house you did with Evelyn Chu? I just kind of gave a brief summary.
Okay. Hi, this is Evelyn Ramirez. I did an open house with Evelyn Chu last couple weeks ago, and I had a good experience. It was a rainy day, and I learned a lot from her, and I was able to put signs also. And I was very surprised that there was a lot of people also at the end that came in for open house. So it's a good experience.
You said you learned something about people.
Well, there's the people that comes in, you know, you kind of feel different characters. You know, some of them, you know, if they're serious, and some of them they're not. So you can kind of read them. So it was a good experience for me, and just by listening by Evelyn, how she approached to the people, and you know, I learned how her techniques. I learned how her techniques are. So it was good.
Yeah, and you said that she was giving you hands-on experience.
Yeah, she had me put my own signs, my open house signs on one of the side of the street. So that one really was a good experience for me. And at the same time too, when she was busy with one client, another came in, so I was able to make contact with other people.
Well, thank
So
you very much, Evelyn. And you know what? The income producing activities, the greatest ones is actually talking to people. So, you know, we can be sending out emails, but if you actually talk to people, that will give you a return on investment even greater. And Evelyn, you also mentioned that you are logging on to Luna Lista. Can you share about that?
yes, on Luna Lista, I always log on, and I always check if there's anything new that I can learn from, and that's how I knew about the open house for Evelyn Chu. So it's a good tool to look at every day.
Okay, so you know the entire Mulhern Group's listings that have open houses are available for you to do an open house. All you have to do is click that button and say you want to do it, and then follow up with that listing agent. So that's just a hint for you, for those especially new agents who want to have more opportunities to connect with people. Check the Luna Lista. And as well, Luna Lista has all of our meetings that are videotaped. So if you miss the meeting and you want to just go back to how to do something, that's a place where you can do it. Okay. All righty.
Oh yeah, that's that one. I wanted to add to that it's good to subscribe on Lalani's YouTube, because if the things that I miss, I just replay it, and so I can go back and listen to it. So that's, the YouTube is good too.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Evelyn. And you know, Victoria also watches the past meetings as well. So that's how she knew how to, you know, update her her website. I also wanted to mention, I think Rashawn is logging on. Rashawn, well, Rashawn just sent me a commission authorization. Rashawn, you want to talk about that briefly? I know you just got on. Rashawn, hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, yeah, so I got a referral from a family friend of mine, and within a few days, we found him a house, and we're now in escrow.
That was great. How did you, was that a new house or a regular resale home?
It was a resale home.
Okay, how did you get your offer accepted, Roshan?
We went in at full price. Actually, no, I take that back. It was 10,000 less than the asking price. The seller wanted to retain property for 7 days before, like after close of escrow, and so we ended up meeting that expectation for them, and everything else has been smooth sailing so far.
Okay, do you feel like it's a lot easier for you to get out there in the market with buyers today and get your offer accepted?
This is my first deal in quite a while, working with the buyer, so it was a little, difficult to find them a house, but we saw maybe about 15 or 20 homes, and then within that same week, we found them something they liked, and it went pretty quick from there.
Can I share how much your commission is?
Sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just love when these come to my inbox. It's a $14,000 commission. Imagine if you got that every other month. That's a pretty nice income for the year. And Deborah Little, congratulations, first of all, Roshan. Good going.
Thank you.
And Deborah Little, you have a closing coming up shortly, because I know you're going to walk through today, right?
Yes, I am. Again, I have received this referral from an ex co-worker back in Water and Power, and she was initially with another agent in August of last year, but the agent wasn't as friendly and was showing her dumps. And so we went up the hill, and she liked my ethics and my work style, and I know she will gladly refer my services. So we go do the walkthrough today.
What is your commission coming up?
Over 13. Berkshire has to get their commission.
Yes.
So I think the original is 13,000 something.
Okay, well,
3%.
when do you close escrow?
Supposed to be the 31st, and so today is the walkthrough. So I have to get with the other agent because the new builds are not as friendly. They don't care about me. They keep me off the loop, and I have to fight for my rights.
Okay, but you're getting a lot of experience doing that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you know what? Congratulations as well. And it's a great way to kick off the year.
Yes, thank you.
This was a referral. So see, talking to people helps you to find those clients that are ready to buy. So congratulations, Deborah. Okay, well, we're hearing on the news a lot about foreclosure. So I just wanted to play this 8-minute video for you in regards to keeping current matters. Let me see if I can get it here. And make sure you tell me if you don't see the screen. Okay, all right. So let's see, hold on. Okay, play.
Let's go ahead and start right here with some headlines that we are seeing around foreclosure filings. So what you can see right here is headlines that have come out over the past couple of weeks. They say U.S. foreclosure filings surged 115% in 2022. That's pretty alarming statistic, and I'm going to break that down for you today to tell you exactly what that means. We're also seeing U.S. foreclosure activity doubles annually, but still below pre-pandemic levels. And foreclosure filings rose 115% over the past year. So a lot of information out there, and I want to help make sure you understand exactly what it means, because while these headlines are factually true, understanding the data behind them and how to make sense of that is mission critical, because your clients can look at these and maybe not be quite sure of what it means. And that could cause someone to pause their plans, to be uncertain, to just say, I'm not going to step into the housing market because I'm not sure what this means, or this sounds pretty scary. So let's go ahead and break this down. I'm going to start with this quote from Adam Data. It says, Adam, a leading curator of real estate data nationwide for land and property data, today released its year-end 2022 U.S. foreclosure market report, which shows foreclosure filings, default notices, scheduled auctions, and bank repossessions were reported on 324,237 U.S. properties in 2022. That's up 115% from 2021, but down 34% from 2019. We're going to get back to that in a moment. That's before the pandemic shook up the market. Foreclosure filings in 2022 were also down 89% from a peak of nearly 2.9 million in 2010. So we see all these headlines in the housing, in the media, and they're pulling from, from this data to help bring out the most, bold statistic that they can to get people to read the headlines and understand and dig in a little deeper. But when you look at what the data is actually saying, foreclosures are up 115% from 2021, but they're still down below, 34% lower from some of those pre-pandemic years, and certainly nowhere near where foreclosure filings peaked at 2.9 million in 2010. So I'm going to bring some context for you to help understand this with a graph that if you followed along with us, you've seen this before. And I think this really helps put into a visual of what this data is actually saying. So US foreclosure activity doubles annually. That is true, but it's still below pre-pandemic levels. Now, this is US properties with foreclosure filings, and it's going all the way back to 2005. So what this does is it breaks down year by year how many foreclosure filings were filed in this country. Now, the dark red bars, that was when over 1 million foreclosures were filed each year. And you can see where we are today. If you look over on the right-hand side of the screen, 2022, far below those peak levels that we saw when the housing market crashed. So what you can look at here, 2021 to 2022, yeah, that number doubled. Not surprising, actually, because in 2020 and 2021, we had a moratorium on foreclosures. We had the forbearance program. There were a lot of factors in the market that brought foreclosure filings down to historic lows. So when we see that percentage jump up 115% from 2021 to 2022, that's not surprising. But what we have to remember is that that's what the headlines grab onto. So it sounds tragic. It sounds like, a crash is coming, but that's not what the data shows. The data shows that we are still far below anything that could resemble, a crash in the market. And, 324,000 foreclosures, our hearts go out to all those people who did go through that process. But what we have to remember is, we never want one family or one homeowner to go through the foreclosure process. But when we're talking about 324,000 filings compared to, 2.8 or 2.9 million per year back in 2009, 2010, we're nowhere near epic proportions where foreclosures are going to be a wave of them coming to the market. So the landscape has drastically changed for a lot of reasons. Like I said, moratorium on foreclosures, the forbearance program, homeowners actually still sitting on significant equity. So many people who would have had to give up their home to foreclosure in a challenging economic time, maybe were sitting on significant equity and were able to sell their home rather than go into the foreclosure process. So as we see this number rise as expected, but it's not what the headlines would make you think, that it is a massive crash coming to the market. Now, I want to give this a little bit more context because I think this next graph really kind of breaks it down even further when we talk about pre-pandemic and then the past 3 years. We had over 1 million fewer foreclosures over the past 3 years. So let me break this down for you. If you look at 2017, 2018, and 2019, those red bars over on the left, this country averaged 598,000, little north of that, foreclosure filings each year. Now, we know every year in this country, homeowners do go through the foreclosure process. They have challenging financial situations, job loss, family situations, things happen. And unfortunately, people have to go through that process for a variety of reasons. But in those pre-pandemic years, which we would consider more normal in the market, we averaged just under 600,000 foreclosures a year. Well, look at the last 3 years where we had the moratorium, the forbearance program, rising equity. We were short over 1 million fewer foreclosures compared to that average level of the 3 years leading up to the pandemic. So far fewer foreclosures on the market. So when we see this number rise from 2021 to 22, yes, it is factually true that it doubled, but we're not talking about epic proportions. We're talking about, an increase that is still far below even the more normal years in the market. So let's go ahead and look at this quote from Rick Sharga, Executive VP of Market Intelligence at Adam. He says 18 months after the end of the government's foreclosure moratorium, and with less than 5% of the 8.4 million borrowers who entered the CARES Act forbearance program remaining, foreclosure activity remains significantly lower than it was prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. It seems clear that government and mortgage industry efforts during the pandemic, coupled with a strong economy, have helped prevent millions of unnecessary foreclosures. And that's huge. So when we put the headlines into the context of what the data is saying and what's truly happening, you know, so many people have been able to avoid the foreclosure process and either selling their home or whatever it was that allowed them to walk through this process. You know, banks are still doing everything they can to continue to help homeowners stay in their homes, to avoid that massive wave of foreclosures coming to the market that happened when the market crashed. We're just in a simply different place. And as new data comes out, it's always important to make sure that we understand the full context, because everything around it in the media can get really confusing. And we want to make sure that you and your clients have the clarity you need to truly understand what's happening. And I love this quote from Bill McBride, founder of Calculated Risk. He said this just last week. The bottom line is there will be an increase in foreclosures over the next year from record low levels. We were at record low levels in 2020 and 21, but there will not be a huge wave of distressed sales as happened following the housing bubble. The distressed sales during the housing bust led to cascading price declines, and that will not happen this time. So we don't have a wave of homes going to foreclosure. And, you know, truthfully, inventory is so low right now that even if homes do hit the market, you know, they will sell. Inventory is low. There will be a demand, especially as we start to come into the spring market.
Any comments before we move on? Any comments? Well, I did want to say that some of you are receiving those NOD lists. And so, you know, I would recommend that you put it into your CRM and follow up. It's a continuous follow-up. Remember, not a whole lot will go to foreclosure, but maybe we can help these people capture their equity, because a lot of equity has been built up in the last few years. So if we can help them, that's a good thing. And I want to turn this over to Roshan. Roshan, you and Ragnar have both RO at the beginning. Ragnar, you have some tips for us as we continue to move forward in this market.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I was at another broker's a seminar, and there was a gentleman by the name of Quintavious that came on via Zoom and shared his story. And personally, I have referenced him for myself and for my team, and I thought it'll be really good for you guys to hear. I'm gonna do this really quickly because there's other things I want to share, but I just want to share one key takeaway from this young gentleman. Quintavious is a very young gentleman, professional, 30 years old. If just maybe a quick entry or raise of hands or unmute yourself, can anyone guess how many transactions Quintavious did in his first year of real estate?
50.
50, okay. Anyone else?
40.
40, okay. And these are high numbers, right? I mean, think about the number of transactions you guys did in your first year. Before I answer that question, anyone want to guess how many people he introduced himself to in his first 30 days? This is the key number that I want you to take away.
Say 75?
75 people in the first 30 days. Okay, that's not bad, Deborah.
125.
125, okay.
The double
100.
All right. All right. So
Like
those
a
are
bidding
all
thing.
of the answers. I appreciate you
200.
participating. Tells me you're awake. But respectfully, none of you are even close. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. And you can take a picture, look him up, do whatever. Look at this. He closed 100 transactions his first year.
Yeah.
And in his second year, because he's in his third year now, and last year, second year, he did 305 transactions in his second year. Now, here is the most staggering to me. I don't care that he did 300, it's impressive. But this right here is what stands out. 6,000 people in 30 days. Let me repeat that because I know I want you to read it, but I'm going to say it again. 6,000 people in 30 days. Okay? When you do the math, it's simple math. He handshook and he gave his business card to 200 people every single day. You figure you're aggressive, you sleep 6 hours a day, you got to eat a few lunches or a few meals, you got to drive here to and from. Let's just say now you're left with what? 14 hours a day. In those 14 hours, he handshook 200 people. And when he came on, he is a former football player at Ole Miss. Go Rebels, if any of you are an alumni or a family there, great team. He was a football there and he knew he wasn't going to make it into the NFL or move forward. And he wanted a career and got into real estate just a couple of years ago. And he shared us with his story. I was just mind blown because it spoke to me as a lender. But I mean, it speaks to people, those agents, but it speaks to me as a lender because ultimately I do what you do, right? The day-to-day at least. And when I shared this with my team, it was a simple question to you. How many people are you meeting today? How many people are you meeting today? And that question goes so deep because we like this, and I'm not at all in any way, shape, or form saying this is bad or wrong or stuff, but we have gotten accustomed to being on Zoom, on our telephones, putting in our Apple EarPods now. That's become so popular, right? But how many times have you gone and shaken someone's hand and hand out your business card and just say hello? And it's amazing. He was tasked this by a mentor. He had a mentor, and he said, the mentor basically challenged him and said, Quintavious, do you know how you're going to succeed? You're going to meet more people than every other real estate agent in Mississippi. Do you know why? Because everyone's working from home. They're not going into the offices. They're not going. They're not going out door knocking. They're not canvassing. They're not going to functions, broker previews. They're doing it for home through the internet. They're going to join Zillow or Redfin or everything else. So you go out there with a suit on, with your business cards, and you're going to shake your hand. You're going to introduce them to yourself. And you're going to leave a nice smile, and you're going to tell them what you do, and you're going to leave them a lasting question, or something. You're going to a call to action. I would love to help you sell your house, or let me help you sell your house, or hey, did you know your house value is worth this? I think he said something like between 8 to 10 seconds. That's it. And he did this 200 times for the first month. In 1 year, check this out. In 1 year, though, he said he introduced himself to close to 100,000 people in his first year. It's amazing. It's amazing, but you saw his numbers. So take what you want from it. It's eye-opening for me too, because I too am accustomed now to just being home and taking the phone. It's time to get out there, people. My good folks at Berkshire Hathaway, it is time to get out there. Kind of transitioning real quick before I get.
Rodner, you said about him, he was consistent in doing this?
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be smart here, but you have to be consistent, right? I mean, if you're trying to meet 200 people a day, you got to be consistent, right? And 6,000 is for 1 month, if you multiply by 12, that's only 72. He did close to 100,000. What does that mean? Some of the months, some of the weeks, some of the days, he met way more than 200 people in a day, right? So absolutely, the theme is consistency. It's consistency, and he did this for 1 year. Okay, and in 1 year, he was able to garner about 100,000 people. He was able to put in a CRM, and he started dripping on them every single day. It's the young gentleman is remarkable, just absolutely remarkable.
Wagner, so did he door knock, or he just went to events? To meet?
Everything he said. You know what he said? So there was a question in the audience that said, "How much money did you spend?" He said, "Whatever it takes for my gas to go from A to B." Right? We all laughed. What was his point? His point was he didn't buy a single lead. He didn't buy a single lead. He worked the white pages. He worked title leads, anything and everything. But primarily, yes, he went to functions. He went to basketball games, high school games, supermarkets, anything and everything that's free.
A gathering.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I want to just really quickly go over these two just because for the sake of time. I'm going to talk about this much more in depth next time. It's important for you to hear right now because FHFA, the Federal Housing Finance Authority, came out with new LLPAs. That is not good news for mortgages. It is going to be a little bit more, let's say, expensive to get a financing beginning May 2023. It's a teaser.
LLPA.
I'm going to leave it at that. Loan level pricing adjuster. It's an LLPA. If 10 of you call me afterwards, I will explain it to you. But FHFA is going to come out with a new set of loan level pricing adjusters. So cute, Deborah. They're coming out with a new set of LLPAs, loan level pricing adjusters, that's going to make it more expensive to get a mortgage. I wanted to break that news to you today because it just came out end of last week. Okay, finally, before I let you go, I have getting phone calls from a few. Thank you, Deborah, both Deborahs actually. And again, this might be something that I could dive into for a lunch and learn. I'm gonna share my screen one more time with you folks. And I want you to keep this in mind as you're prospecting, as you're taking on leads and you are talking to people, okay? I hope this is really helpful for you guys for a paradigm shift here, okay? Share, okay. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit so you don't see this, or, okay, you know what? It's just for the sake of time here. Gross income, $100,000. When you look at $100,000, when someone tells you, I make $100,000, that's good money, right? Could you guys, for those who are on a video, nod your head. If you're making $100,000, you're making decent money, right? Here's the unfortunate news. I'm gonna cut to the chase. When it comes to the world of financing and mortgage, it's that good money is now really, really subjectively relative, okay? So I'm gonna go through this real quickly because we're gonna probably have a lunch and learn on this. I've already requested it from Leilani. 43 is typically the most you can obtain in housing debt. Your mortgage, your mortgage principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. Okay, so if I take 43% of your gross monthly income, that's $3,500. I put this here, 47. It could technically go up to 57, but 47 is an average depending on your FICO score. You can have a total debt of 59. So while your housing can be about 3,600, any additional debt will be only limited to about $300 more, thus the 3,900. Now, at $100,000, someone wants to know how much mortgage I can afford. Ragnar, what's my maximum loan qualification? Well, here's two scenarios right here below. This first column is conventional. The second one is FHA. I did FHA at 3.5 down and conventional at 5%. When you run through these numbers, okay, Conventional 5% down. These are actual real numbers based off today's interest rates and everything else. Your payment is $3,400. On an FHA 3.5, it's $3,600. Let's go back to this right here. We just saw that your maximum housing payment can be just under $3,600. What does this mean? For someone who's making $100,000, has virtually no debt, and decides to take an FHA loan out of 3.5, they barely qualify. For what? For a $450,000 house.
Really?
Okay. I know that I don't know how, if you were able to digest that. I will share this with Leilani for you guys just to digest it over. But I wanted to share that with you as my lasting comment here, because I'm not implying anything here. What I am just saying is there is a clear discrepancy between income earning, right, and what people want to qualify for. I just gave you an example of $100,000 earner doing 5% down payment could barely qualify for that. Thank you, Betty, because I see your reaction. I think you get it. So when you're out there and you're taking on leads and you're prospecting and you're screening your clients, you can use that as a reference, okay? If you have any questions, I'll be around. Thank you.
Thank you, Ragnar. Yeah, so what Ragnar is telling us, we really got to pre-qualify our buyers, because, you know, we all have a great heart to want to help, but if it's not going to result in them being able to purchase, we're only causing stress and disappointment in them, and then it's causing frustration for us as the agent trying to help them. So we're not saying don't help, but maybe you can set them up so that they can qualify for the future. But sometimes, because people don't know what it takes to qualify for a loan, so that's where you educate them. And I did request from Dennis a pre-qualifying script. I will put it into our Luna Lista for you to take a look at. It's just kind of what are the questions that we need to have in mind as we speak to people, so that we're not. I just, again, don't want us to not get return on investment. Our time is a commodity, and I don't want us to be spinning our wheels with someone who is not able to purchase now. So we should be putting our clients into like an A, B, C category. A, people are people who are ready to buy, they have the money. B are people who might be needing some more help to get to be able to qualify. So I just want you to keep that in your minds and take a look at our Luna Lista, because I will upload those documents so you can know those scripts. Okay, so let me just share. We're going to go to our housekeeping. Thank you, Ragnar, for the information, and I'll put also that graphic that you shared with us into our Luna Lista. Let me see if I can get in here. Okay. Can you see this? No, not yet. Let me get it. We had birthdays this month, and I did want to say that Nancy Wells, just closed the deal with the mobile home. She is our mobile home queen. So she just closed the mobile home. January 8th was her birthday. Ragnar Park, your birthday was January 10th. So happy belated birthday to you. And Nico Ruiz was on January 16th. Let me see if I can get that up there. Okay. And I apologize. I just had a lot of stuff on my mind that I forgot to do it. So next week is February. So we do have February birthdays, right, Deborah Little?
Yes, and I celebrate for the rest of the year. So
okay. So if I forget it
Backwards.
next week, you're gonna be mad. I wanted to share this other screen, which is the people who need to renew their licenses in 2023. Some of you are on the call, so take a look. Your name is on there. LV is in March, Betty Joe, Miguel, Bob, me, Riker, Minnie, Ellen, Jake, and I believe there was another few down here. J. Charlie Nico. Okay, I think, let me see if I can, Scott, when is yours due? I think it was in 2023.
It's in June. Yeah, I just bought the package.
Okay, you know what? I apologize. I thought I put you on there because I knew you were also having your license renewed. But Betty Jo, there is more qualifications for 2023.
I'm in the process to renew my license right now. I still have another, like probably around like 9 more hours, and I can
Okay.
finish.
Wow, well, congratulations, Miguel. You're an inspiration because I know you were starting earlier and you're not
Yeah,
waiting to the last
but
minute. But
Deborah, she beat me.
Deborah did it in so quick because she was
Yeah.
so motivated. Now, Betty Jo, tell us what are the new requirement, another class that we need to take.
I haven't done it yet, but I have info on it. It's called implicit bias. So it's a lot about fair housing,
Okay.
bias, not being biased about this and that. So there's a couple parts to it. It's called implicit bias and explicit bias. So that's as far as I just kind of glanced at it. So a lot of fair housing, a lot of different rules and about fair housing. So
Thank you, Betty Jo. So those of you who got your licenses completed in 2022, you didn't need to do that. But getting your license in 2023 is going to require us to study this extra thing. Deborah Little, did you want to say something?
I was just saying I really enjoyed First Tuesday, and I called them, and again, I didn't have to get a package, Scott. It was less than $60, I believe.
Okay, so good tip, Deborah Little. So check with First Tuesday.
Yeah, I've used First Tuesday all the time. They are very, very good.
Okay, I might have to use them. I don't use them. I haven't used them. I used Kaplan. So
I used Revy, REVEI. They had a class at Tri-County, first basic class where they went over a couple tests too. We did a couple of the tests there, and then I really like it. I got in contact with them, with Shane, and he, got back with me immediately. I took all my classes for this part like 3 years ago, because with them, okay, when I renewed 4 years ago, you can take another renewal within the next year for your next 4 years. So 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I took all my classes except the new one.
oh,
So I have them all done except for the new one. And, they kind of offer that, and I did it because it was fresh in my mind.
that was a good idea.
Once you renew in that 4 years, you have another year. They give you a special price to renew for the next 4 years. But you don't, of course, turn in your certificates until, I'll do it in March. But so all those are done except for the new one. But I like the way I was able to do that, and well, it was still fresh in my mind, and I could take the other classes.
Okay,
So
so let's just make sure we
that's
get our
Revy.
license. I'm giving you a heads up. I apologize. I didn't do this last year for those who needed to renew for this past year. But I figured let's just get it out there so you guys start to know. Let's take a look. You know what? Last week we had the legal update with Bill Jansen, 2 hours, or actually it was only an hour and a half. Betty Jo watched the YouTube link. Again, Betty Jo,
Very good.
tell us a little bit about it.
Let's try to think
Just a
about
little
it. You know
bit.
what? I did take a bunch of notes, but
For your overall impression.
excellent. It's very good. Learning a lot of new things about even leases, and we talk about the move in, move out. They advise you what not to do the move out, which I don't usually do anyway, but we do the move in, correct?
Right.
We do that. I had a question on some of this. I don't know, I have several pages here, but it was very, very good. They talked about revised forms, new forms, the RPA, leasing form, different forms that are coming in. It was really good, so you can watch the video.
So what I'd like to encourage everybody is to go ahead and let me get this. Where is it at? Mulhern Academy. If let me see if I can get it back up. You know, it is on the Mulhern Academy for 2 weeks. So can you see this on your screen? Mulhern?
Yeah.
Okay,
Looks-
yeah.
It's kind
So,
of
you know,
gray.
it is mulhernacademy.com. Here is this is the newest video, the legal update. So if you watch the video, they're going to ask you for your email address and password, then you're able to watch it. But let me just see if I can get in there. So here it is. So, you know, let's see how many minutes it is. Anyway, I don't know how many minutes it is, but it's there for you to review. Now they will be taking that down in about a week or so because they just put it up. They said they're only leaving it up there for 2 weeks. So I encourage you to take a look, be aware of what's in store for our forms. And it's unfortunate that we're always revising because we just learn it, but it's also good because there's more protection for both you and your client. So make sure you take a look at that. And then
You know,
Deborah Myers, did you go to today for the Chamber of Commerce meeting?
Yes, I was there today. It was all they mainly talked about was goals. I mean, we talked about that a week before last, but just setting your goals. And one of the speakers, I thought she was right because she said, set small goals. They're easier to meet. If you set the big goals, you're gonna get discouraged. And I agree with that. And it also said to, which I think is a good idea, set goals, but tell someone about it so they can keep you accountable. And I think that's kind of a nice idea.
Okay, yes. You know, thank you, Deborah. You know, you guys, that's what we've been doing. Remember the Atomic Goals video we watched the other day? The guy that wanted to lose 100 pounds, he started by just going to the gym for 5 minutes a day, but he was establishing the habit. And they said that the heaviest item in a gym is the front door getting in. So, you know, we're going to just keep doing this little by little. You know, so I'm asking you, get your national website up to speed. Put together your business plan for 2023, and it is so simple. It's on the BHHS Resource Center. And Deborah Myers, you said accountability. So I am here to hold you accountable. So let me know what your goals are. And I am going to really try hard to connect with you and see where you're going and how to help you in your achievement of that.
Well, I know I need to put my picture online and I have not done it, but I'm going to get that done.
Okay, Deborah.
I'm getting that done.
Yeah, you know the login information, so get that done. Okay, and then tomorrow we do have another advanced training, and it's how to earn more commission in 2023. So this one is presented by CoStar. Whoops. CoStar is the one that does commercial real estate. So you might want to check it out, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, how to earn more commission in 2023. And then our lunch and learn is next week. I mean, no, not next week. I'm sorry. Erase that from your mind. It's tomorrow, January 26th at our Chino Heights office with Brian Sanchez in the Movement Mortgage. Brian, do you want to say anything about it?
Sure. So hope you guys are excited about going to the lunch and learns tomorrow. We're going to cover some really great topics on doing income producing activities, creative financing, and just, you know, things that you can do to help you kind of jumpstart this year. And, you know, some little tips and tricks that we're also going to be sharing. So hopefully you guys can make it and get some really good information from it.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And, you know, Beverly can give you the numbers so far that she's collected of those who are attending, so that you can prepare for our food. Anyway.
Right, yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, everyone, I appreciate your time and thank you for your attention, but I cannot hammer in enough how important it is for us to just get a business plan going. And I will follow up with you to see what you've done. You know, it's just those small steps each time. And if you can log on to Luna Lista, you can replay our meetings or get some of the information that I'll be putting up there, like the pre-qualifying scripts. So I think what Ragnar shared with us today is so important to meet people. That is the high income producing activity we can do. You know, social media is good, but again, we're not meeting people face to face. That is key. A handwritten note is good as well, because that shows people that you're trying to connect with them. But that actual conversation about how you can help them with their real estate needs is important. So with that, everyone, let me see if I can queue up my thing here. Okay, so we'll talk to you later. All right, Bob, good to see you. Hope all is well. Take care. Renee, I've talked to you. Mari, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, thank you, Betty Jo. So
You're welcome.
see that picture on your line. Okay, okay. Take care, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Beverly, oh. Bev, do you want to talk a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, let me turn off this music. Okay, Bev,
Okay.
are you on your phone?
Huh?
You're on your cell phone?
I put my cell phone on so I can talk
Okay, all right.
because the other I don't. The other one I can watch and listen, but to talk I use